So when you got the phone call, because prior everybody was at a funeral.
Yeah, we was
You know,
together.
I grew up with Steve. You know,
Mm-hmm.
rest in peace to a
Rest
great
his soul.
young man. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? I grew up with him since we was babies, literally. And then your brother, Daishan Best, was carrying the actual casket.
Mm-hmm.
You know, burying his friend.
Yeah.
And then uh, half an hour later, the world changes upside down for his situation and also you. So now, from that point, you get the call, and like, what is the response?
Well, to put a little context to it,
I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my own grave. And go home to my Lord and be free.
This is your boy Gloves. You know, on Gloves Off, we don't sugarcoat. We don't beat around the bush or bite our tongue. This is a platform to speak our piece. I believe everybody has a vision and have a window that they see things from their own perspectives. So we're not in the business of attacking anyone. We're giving everybody their own voice. I'm here today with the Best family. They're going to speak genuinely. Once again, I want to emphasize that we're not here to attack anyone. We're speaking our piece from our perspective, and it's always a platform for someone to rebuttal. I just want to welcome everybody for coming and, just sitting down with me. Obviously, I know the topic is a touchy subject, but I would love for y'all to speak freely. And the purpose of this is to keep Daishawn Best's name at the top of it. I will ask y'all for a backstory of who y'all is so they can understand the connection between y'all and Daishawn Best. But the objective is for his legacy to keep going and keep his name alive. So I want to start off to my left. You can state your name and what relation you have to Daishawn Best.
I'm Leonard Best. I'm Dashawn's older brother.
Okay, and older brother as like oldest, middle,
No,
like
I'm the third oldest.
third oldest. Okay, and your name and
Hey, I'm Diane Norman. I'm the oldest
okay,
of all of them.
okay,
I'm
yes,
Anthony Marshall Thompson. I actually was raised with the family. Their aunts and their uncles and their sisters and their mothers. That's who I was around growing up as family. So we're just family, point blank.
yes, absolutely. I know firsthand
Yeah.
family is those that you put in your
Yeah,
heart. It is in the
yeah.
bloodline, so I
We're family. You already
know.
know.
Absolutely. So I wanna start off with basically like I said, saying like how, your relation to Daishan. Obviously, you say you are the third brother, so you're more closer than the oldest brother to him. So, how was he growing up as a young man, from your perspective?
Well, to add some context to it, my mother had 7 kids,
Okay.
and all of our brothers and our sister, they was in foster care.
Okay.
But the Best family, Carol Jean Best and Paul Best, they adopted me and my brother together.
Mm.
So our bond was a little bit more closer because we actually had the opportunity to grow up with each other in the same household.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know
So,
that. Okay.
so she adopted us. I was probably around 2 years old, and he was a year old,
Okay.
and we was with the Best family ever since.
Okay. And so tell me how it was when you saw him growing up as a younger? Like, was he like energetic? Like, he used to be like, sit down. He used to follow you around everywhere. Like, because you just said y'all basically a year apart, so I'm quite sure you try to go outside or get a girl, he's following you or trying to buy you like something.
He was always quiet.
He was quiet?
He was always quiet. He
Yeah.
loved basketball. He came into his own after I got locked up. I got locked up when I was 18,
Okay.
and I ended up getting a 27-year sentence. And once I got locked up, that's when he came into his own. I knew Daishan.
Okay. Tell me about
They know
Daishan.
DY.
They know DY.
They know DY.
They know DY.
You know what I'm saying? But he stepped into his own. When I was home, he was basketball. He loved basketball, loved playing sports. He loved spending time with his friends. I was off the steps with my older brother. We didn't want him around us. We didn't want him getting in no trouble. We seen his potential. We knew what he could do if he kept his mind on it. So we pushed him away and just played
He used to
basketball.
feel some type of way
Yeah,
y'all
he
doing
felt
that.
some type of way, but I got locked up. He got locked up. That's when he came off that step, and it was
Yeah.
he was off running.
Yeah.
He made a name for his own.
Yes, okay. And how you saw all them growing up, like when they came around. You the oldest brother, so I know they like, give me some money, what's up?
It was like, when I used to go over there, they have animosity because, they felt like my mom gave them up. And, they was mad about it.
Because they was younger.
You know what I'm saying? But I had to explain to him, like, nah, mommy gave you up because mommy was on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, I didn't have a better life. She wanted a better life for you, and that's why she gave y'all up.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I always broke it down to them. They were stubborn at times. But then they understand what I was saying when they got older.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They was like, oh, damn, you right, you know what I'm saying? And then, they connected with mom. Now she ain't getting high no more. Now mom's doing good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Now mom reaching out. Mom sending money to their books. Mom making sure they can call them. You know what I'm saying? But, it comes around, man.
Yeah, okay.
Mom showed them that love, what they needed, and they respected it after. They understand that was a sickness that she was going through.
Do they have any of one of them ever called you asking for some advice, like manly advice or anything? Like, yo, bro, look.
Always.
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 Oh,
They
okay,
all
so
did.
y'all had that.
Yeah, because-
Dayan was quiet.
Yes.
Like he's militant. Like he's strategic with his stuff.
He's a
Even when I was
different
a
quiet.
kid, So that's why I'm like.
He broke it down to us. Well, he broke it down to me when I was doing time, and I got fortunate enough. I went to the jail he was in.
Okay.
And
Got him
became
myself.
cells.
Got him
Oh,
myself.
that's what's up.
I got him
So
myself.
we in cells, and he's like, "Mom, I love you." I'm like, "Man, I don't hear about no mom."
Yeah.
And then he broke it down to me, and he said, I remembered it. He said, "Wouldn't you want to be forgiven? You've done things that you want to be forgiven for. Don't you want to be forgiven?" And I thought back to when I shot this police officer. Would I want this man to hold a grudge against me for the rest of my life? How can I not forgive the very woman that brought me into this world? But these are the phases of maturity of coming into your own manhood. To be like, damn, he is right. I owe that to my mother. She's trying, but I'm not letting her in. So when he broke that down to me in the cell, I was like, wow. And that was the transformation of our relationship. And we was tight.
So for you, so for you to go in at a young age with the charge that you have, what was the actual charge?
Saw first.
Saw first with
Saw
a
first with 2 weapons, two gun charges.
okay, and the saw first was on an officer,
Yes.
correct? So now, umpteen years later, you get out of prison 20 plus years later, and you're faced with this horrific situation. Your brother is now murdered by an officer. I know your mental went upside down in 500 ways. So I'm glad. I want to personally say I'm glad that you kept your composure. It takes a real man to know the difference and the separation from like how to be articulate with your movements, and I respect that. Like, because a lot of people wouldn't have been able to bear. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some people I've met where they've literally did a lot of prison time and they rather stay in prison. They got home, but they rather go back because they're like, they're more comfortable in there. They know the ropes, the in and outs of it, so they know how to survive in it. Yeah. And I'm glad that you would like to be here with us because we definitely need you. We missed you, brother.
Yeah.
For real. For real.
It took much time, much trials and tribulations, many life lessons, but if you live long enough, life will humble you. So during that time, making mistakes that I made along the way, gradually finding myself, maturing into who I am right now, it was God that was building me up within. So that's how I'm able to take that on the chin. I wish in the minute I took that on the chin. Okay. If I didn't build myself mentally up first, I wouldn't have been able to come home and deal with this type of trauma and loss.
So when you got the phone call, because prior, everybody was at a funeral.
Yeah.
I grew up with Steve, rest in peace to a great young man. You know what I mean? I grew up with him since we was babies, literally. And then your brother, Daishan Best, was carrying the actual casket, burying his friend. Yeah. And then half an hour later, the world changes upside down for his situation and also you. So now, from that point, you get the call, and like, what is the response?
Well, to put a little context to it, when we went to the repast, we was together. I stayed with my brother as long as I could, but I'm one that listens to my spirit. If something tells me to go, I go. So I'm like, it's time for me to leave. So I left around 4:30, but also that eternal clock was like, go say bye to your brother. God is my witness. Something told me, hey, go say bye to your brother. But I told myself, I'll see him later. He's going to be back at the house, because that's where he was staying. He was staying at the house with me. So I just left, went home. Went to go see a friend, and then my phone was just ringing off the hook. I tried to call my brother like 3 times. It went straight to voicemail. I didn't think nothing of it. Until one of our childhood friends, Doodle, called me and said, yo, they killed, well, he was just sobbing. He was incoherent. I couldn't even understand him. I'm like, what are you talking about? I just left you. Yeah. Said, yo, they killed him. I'm like, what you mean they killed him? So I quickly ran to the house and I told our cousin Pookie. And she broke down and we got in the car and went straight to St. Vincent's first. And they said nobody came here. I got another call. They said he's still at the scene. So we shot straight to Kasuf where the repast was, and it was all cornered off. And the cops wasn't trying to tell me nothing. But I'm going through that barricade. Where is my brother? What's going on? And they told me he was at Bridgeport Hospital. And we all just shot up to Bridgeport Hospital. And we were just vigilant and just praying that he would make it through, because he's been through worse. And they couldn't take him out then. And I'd be damned they take him out now. And I just rallied up everybody, and just hoping that he was going to pull through, but that was not the case. God had other plans.
So you mentioned Kasuf at the repast where the incident occurred. From the camera, it shows that Daishan was actually sitting on the passenger side of the vehicle. Daishan had a bottle on his lap. It showed a vape in his hand. It actually showed cell phone in his hand, like literally on video. And the officer had no probable cause of asking him to exit the vehicle or let alone open the vehicle herself. How do you feel pertaining to that? Because I think that could have sparked the whole initial thing. If the approach was different, I think the outcome would have been different. Is that true, or you don't believe so?
People gonna say what they want to say. Why did he run? Why did you? Obviously, you've never been a black man in Bridgeport.
For real. For real.
So for you to say, why did he run? His brother just did 21 years for shooting a cop in the leg on accident. I don't want no interactions with police officers, whether I got something on me or not. I don't want to talk to you. We don't trust you. The trust has been broken between our community and with them.
It's in the history, it is.
Look at the history book. How many black people got killed that didn't have nothing on them and ran?
A few. I can name a few. Literally, somebody popped in my head.
So for one to say, oh, he did this to himself. No, he didn't. He didn't do this to himself. They did that to our brother.
Because they definitely had no right to open that door. If it was considered a traffic stop, how is a traffic stop? They go and ask the person for the license, registration, so on and so forth, and then they can have the conversation on, well, there was shot fired around here. Can we search your truck? That gives the driver the opportunity to say yes or no, because there's no probable cause.
He was a passenger.
He was the passenger. He has nothing to do with anything.
Nothing to do with nothing.
You're supposed to be talking to the driver only.
True.
And you don't even have to give you his license.
Yeah.
I don't have to give you
You
anything.
don't gotta even know me.
That's a fact.
I can keep my window rolled up. If
So
I
that
wanted
fear of that cop opening that door, that'll make any man think like, wait, hold on, it's
something
open
ain't
up.
right.
Yeah, you know what? I'm out.
Yeah.
It's not I have something on me or I
Yeah.
have no. I'm fearing for my life.
So how do you feel pertaining to the fact of, okay, now the incident occurred, and now if there's allegations out there that your brother had a firearm, and then you're sitting here arguing the fact that he didn't. So before the fact, we ain't gonna go too far, but so now let's start at the part where they state he has a firearm and he's already at the hospital. Do you believe that he was murdered at the scene, or he passed away in transit or at the hospital?
Killed by Bridgeport police. Speaking out, they say Deshaun Best was not holding a gun when police shot him, and they say the department's own video proves it. News 8's Kent Pierce, live for us in Bridgeport this morning with those details. Good morning, Kent.
Good morning, Laura. The family of Deshaun Best and their attorney, they're holding a press conference later on today to show everyone what they say is proof that Best was not holding a gun when Bridgeport police shot and killed him, but they already showed it to News 8. Now, this shooting happened last Monday. Best and a friend were stopped by police leaving a friend's funeral. Best ran from police, and the chase and the shooting were all captured on multiple police cameras. The initial report seemed to show that Best pointed a gun at police. That's when an officer shot and killed him. But his family and friends say there was no gun. They say he had a vape and a phone in his hand. Matthew Purdy was driving the SUV Best was in.
I'm telling the officer, he don't got no gun. He's trying to convince me that's why he's running. No.
When you look at the tape, you see the vape, you see the Remy bottle.
Yes.
You see
In the
his cell
phone.
We have the whole tape from when they chased him. When did he ever
He never reached or
reach
nothing.
to get a gun? Where did this gun come from? We have the,
You seen him
we have the
fall,
body
and
cam.
that's what made him drop the bottle.
He
'Cause he
dropped
fell.
off.
When he fell.
Yeah, he did. He definitely.
And he
did.
has the other thing in the other hand, and he's running like
When
this
did he was able
To go
to
and
go into a waistband?
and get a gun.
They showed the whole body cam. The cop chased him. He was right behind him. When did he go with his waistband and come out with his gun? When it was clear when he came out of the truck that he had the vape,
In the
the phone,
autopsy,
and the Remy.
the autopsy state that he was shot
He
from
bled out. We
behind.
had one of the EMTs that was on the scene. They shot him where they shot him at in that driveway.
Yes.
Police picked him up from that spot and carried him in like a tarp.
From the fire
He,
department.
they took too long. The EMTs told Lex that they took about 30 minutes.
Oh my.
And the thing
He
is,
bled out. They killed him. They did that to him.
and they say that the EMT can't touch you.
If
You're
you're
dead, you
deceased.
could, if you're deceased, they cannot touch you. And they did not touch him. The police did that. Brought him to the ambulance.
And the detective drove the ambulance, not the EMT.
Excuse me?
The detective drove the ambulance.
To the
Not
hospital.
Yes.
They took 30 minutes to render our brother help.
I was told that the thing was left on the scene. The oxygen mat, like
Yeah, it was left there.
Okay.
It was left there. My sister's boyfriend, they went over there and it was over there in that garage, where that driveway it was where they shot him.
Have you ever heard outside of just around in the community or anything? Have you ever heard that he did have a gun from any human being?
We left together. He didn't have no.
So this is how we could dispose that right there. No one should never bring this narration again about him having a gun. Why? Because you can just look at the camera when the police officer shot him. The police officer was the one that took his gun out, but the other police officers took out tasers. They were closer to Deshaun, seeing him clearly on that side. The
Yeah.
officer that shot him from the back.
Yeah.
So if these officers are on him, up on him, they pulled out tasers. If they thought he had a gun, they would have pulled out what? A gun. They had tasers
And they all
out,
would have been shooting at him.
and he had his gun out because he didn't have a clear visual. So you couldn't tell if that was a gun or not. You made up in your mind automatically that that man had a weapon. Why? Because of the color of his skin. Not because of you didn't judge him on him being a human being. You judged him because he was a black man that ran, and evidently you think he has a gun. But all those other cops that were there pulled out tasers. Why did you pull out a gun? And you didn't even make it all the way to the scene.
So how do you think that the video and stuff got altered like that in the pictures that
Even if
put
the
out
video
to the
got
public?
altered, say it did get altered. But I need people to really use common sense and look at the video, even the body cam. Look at that video. If the officers in that video pulled out tasers and they were closer to him, why did he pull out a gun? They pulled out tasers because their life was not threatened. That means they just want to take him down.
And after
A
he
taser is
shot
just to
him,
take you down.
After he shot him, and my family, they tell me, why you keep watching it? I'm so in tune, I'm so connected with my brother. So I must watch it. I watch it daily. But I find the grace from him, he pushing me like, yo, peace. That's why I wanted the sisters to sing that song, Peace Be Still, because I need the peace right now to continue this fight for him. And it's easy to go off the rail. It's easy to go back to old ways. But to come into your own as a man and mature, it's called growing pains for a reason. It hurts to grow. It hurts to change. To do something that somebody would never have thought us to do. To see you in this lighting. Nobody would ever think that Devin would be doing this. Or Ant be doing that. Or Diane be doing this. They expect us to act out. But when you change that narrative and then you do something positive, that's why what bothers you don't bother me, because I did 21 years. There's nothing you can say to me that's going to agitate me. I have 21 years of patience.
I just feel like, me and him, like I said, when he went to jail, I was in jail, I came home, he was already in the streets, all right, that's my brother, he here, so I'm taking him. I'm protecting him, I'm gonna make sure we good. We doing bad.
Of
but,
course.
He's with me. We came from the mud, bro. We changed our life, bro. Yo, we went, he did his thing with the trucking, I took it from another state, got my life together, and was going legit. No more in the mud, we is out the mud.
Nah, facts.
We are trying to
He
build,
was always on the road.
We are trying to build a foundation.
Facts.
My brother only was there to bury his boy. He had a load to make more money for his family. And they killed our brother, bro.
And he has a child as well.
And then try to make it like he was still a bad guy.
How you shoot a person, and then when you go over and see it's a vape next to him, you cut off your body cam. Because if he had the gun that supposedly right there on the scene, how come that wasn't shown in your report? You went over there, you shot this boy in his back.
Got the whole video.
And that's going to be one of the things that we're going to be asking for. We want them to play the full body cam.
So when he went over there, and I know he cussed like shit. I know he cussed like, because you see that vape there. Then you manipulate the video. My boy fingers was broke. Trying to put a gun in his hand, awkward. Who holds a gun like that? I know DY know how to hold a gun. Ain't nobody holding no gun like that.
Yeah. So now we're faced with this situation. Obviously, it happened. We're at this point in time of today. What do you, individually, I want y'all to speak. What do you want to see from this point on, as far as for Daishan?
I just feel I want people to know his story. I want people to understand where he came from and what he did to better himself for his family. And I want justice. You know what I'm saying? Because if it was another person that happened like this, or the cop happened like this, they would have been in jail. I just want justice. He deserved to be in jail.
Yeah.
He killed my brother. My brother came from a long way, bro. We've been through hell. We came out of that, man. And now he's gone.
If I can get my recordings from prison and all our conversations, I beat it in his head. I preached till he was blue in his face. I know it was days he got tired of me. Probably didn't even want to pick up the phone. Oh, TDJ's about to preach again. But I wanted something better for my brother.
Yeah.
I would do 21 years 10,000 times over just to have him back. I would do 20 years over and over again after each life that God allows me to have, I would do that over and over, just bring my brother back. So for them that paint this narrative, oh, he's this bad guy, no. He was one that's flawed as all of us are. But he made the proper changes to change who he was. It clicked for him. He was sleeping in abandoned buildings. People was talking about him. But he started making these strides like, yo, bro, right. I'm like, there's nothing in here. There's nothing in prison. This is a place of darkness, of hopelessness. But you have to be the light in that type of place. I chose to be the light in that place and do the things that I needed to do. Had some hiccups along my way.
Yeah,
as we all have those. But I wanted something better for myself. So as I was learning, I wanted to pass that on to my brother. And it clicked, so they hear him like, yo, bro, I'm a CDL driver. Like, yo, you come home, I got you. You're making it now. Trying to get right. So all these conversations we had, all the times we cried back and forth on the phone, all I ever asked him was just to be home when I got there. And lo and behold, the day I finally make parole, and I'm walking out with my boxes, he was the first face that I seen. And he jumped out the car, got my boxes, and we just hugged and cried. I said, thank you for being here. He said, you know I wouldn't miss this.
Facts.
And we was off to the races. So for them to not just rob me, but to rob all of us, his kids, his sisters. Justice is how y'all made me pay. Justice is making that officer pay. Making changes in these departments to know how to deal with black men, because we're not animals. We are men, we are fathers.
Yes.
We are brothers.
Yes.
They see us, they scared of us.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
They scared of strong black men. So they're gonna shoot us. But if you look at the news, you could have a white man with an AK. They'll talk him down. Calm down.
Yeah.
But you could just shoot a man and a black man in the back like it's nothing. But this man is wielding a samurai sword at you, and you still won't shoot him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just go on Google and look at this stuff. I'm amazed. Like, if that was us, we'd be dead.
In Bridgeport, Connecticut, I'm realizing alone, let alone the whole state of Connecticut, but in Bridgeport alone, they have a lot of police shootings that is unsolved. You know what I'm saying? And they always get like either benched, probation, different, transferred somewhere or whatever the case may be. So, like, what do you say like to that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna try to let time pass.
I'm disgusted because he got a paid vacation for killing our brother. He's getting paid. It's a vacation for him. Serious?
So they do have what you call the police accountable bill that's out.
Okay.
They approved that. So in this particular time, once, as far as what we want him to be charged. We want that officer to be charged because it is proven that he murdered him. There was no gun on scene, so on and so forth. Because that's one of the demands we want. We want him to be arrested.
Okay.
And once he becomes arrested and he's charged and things of that nature, as a family, they not only will be able to sue the police department, but they will be able to sue him
As an individual.
now.
Yes.
Before they didn't used to do that. That's why there was so many unsolved
Yes.
police shootings, because the police were able to get away and work the next day with no problem. But because of the bill, it changed the narrative a little bit. Not saying it's fully changed, because
Yes, yes, of course, of course,
Look
of course,
how they
of
covered
course,
everything up.
of course.
But the fact of the matter is, once he's arrested and charged, the family will be able to sue him and get him terminated.
Who?
Then the other,
sorry, go ahead.
then the other thing is that I love what they said as far as how they want everyone to look at Dyshawn. And I'm not going to call him DY. I want the Dyshawn part.
Yes.
Because DY is another narrative. Dyshawn is the real him,
Yes,
what he
yes.
went through, right?
Yes, yes.
So if they look at that narrative, look at it like he's that person. He's a black man, and he's in a situation where there were shots fired, and you're having police not approach you in a respectful way, but in an aggressive way. The aggressive way is by them approaching the car and just opening the doors. That's very aggressive. And as you guys was pointing out, a lot of us have fear. And the reason why we have fear is this, right? There's two things that a human being deals with when death is involved. They deal with anger and they deal with pain, right? A lot of times how we deal with the death, we deal with the anger, right? And the anger comes that we want revenge, or we're upset with people, or we're drinking, we're smoking. Our mind is not able to deal with what? The hurt that we're dealing with.
Yes.
So right now, we bypass the anger. We were angry at the moment, but like he said, when he went up to the hospital, everybody was up there, and we had to realize, hold up, we got to deal with this. You know what I'm saying? We can't deal with this with anger. We got to deal with this with our hurt. And when you deal with a situation with your hurt, you're going to make the important steps the right way and the correct way, because you want justice for the hurt that you received.
Yes, yes.
And we're not doing things in anger. So we want people to know that this man was a great, humble, striving, young black man. And when I seen him do paint the basketball court and do all this Halloween stuff and all that, that is the growth of a man that's dealing with his hurt. He wasn't angry with his mother. He wasn't angry for the situation that he was in. He was dealing with his hurt. He had his brothers. One was out with him. One was in. But he still had somebody support him to deal with the hurt. And, you know, I'm glad he brought up the notion of, you know, at one point he was homeless. And I deal with homeless stuff. He approached me before. I helped him. But that wasn't for people to know. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I know that he still was striving. He was doing what he had to do. And this is what we need people to realize. That man that was in that car that turned around and ran, he ran because it was fear. It wasn't because he did anything wrong. It was fear. Because he changed his life, and we need to at least honor that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to continue to judge me off of my past.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I'm out here doing great work, and I'm going to brag about it. I'm out here doing great work.
Yes, absolutely.
So why would I want someone to say, oh, that's Anthony Marshall Thompson, the one that used to do X, Y, and Z? No. Who am I now?
Yes, yes.
No one wants to be judged on their past. They want to be judged on who they are now. Right now. So we need to get that notion out, well, he ran maybe because, no, he ran because it was fear. And that police was wrong for shooting him.
So do you believe that because, you know, throughout the years, obviously before Dyshawn Best's passing, throughout the years we've seen it nationally where people have been murdered by officers and people have protested in the middle of the street, slept multiple days, sleepless nights and all that. Even here home base in Connecticut, in Bridgeport alone. Do you feel like the city should have stepped up more, especially after the police being exposed that Dyshawn was actually murdered? Do you think the city as a whole should have stood together as a unity? Because obviously this could have been anybody's child.
I just feel like, you know, even if you don't know him, you should want to stand up because you don't want that to go through your family
Yes.
or your loved ones. You know what I'm saying? If it's unjustified, in which it is.
Yeah, yeah, facts.
It was murder. So yes, I would want the whole community to stand up because you don't want your family to go through. Just because, you know what I'm saying, it's, oh, I don't know him, I'm not doing that. No. You doing that so it don't happen to the next person.
Facts. Okay.
And standing up, right? People have to understand that word. You want the community to stand up for you, right? Standing up doesn't necessarily means always making noise.
Yes. Yes.
Standing up is a way of people have. We have congressmen, we have senators, and things of that nature that have emails. If everyone in the community of City of Bridgeport send an email or call up to these senators and so on and so forth and say, listen, we demand that this officer be arrested. If they get enough calls like that coming from the City of Bridgeport, guess what's going to happen? They're going to have no choice but to come down here.
The microphone.
They're going to have no choice but to come down here and just do what they have to do and make sure that man is arrested. So standing up doesn't mean you have to be outside in the community making noise. No.
Okay.
We want you to make his name heard through the police department, make his name heard up in Hartford so that they won't forget and know that we want justice down here.
And to stand up is,
That we
like you
want justice
said,
down
you
here.
don't
And that's
have
the
to,
way to
you don't
stand
have
up.
to say nothing.
You
Like
could come in the camera.
It's about standing in solidarity. You can stand in silence, but just your presence alone makes some noise.
That's a fact.
I'm
That's
here.
a fact.
I don't know him, but I'm here.
Yep.
I'm here. I
Yep,
don't
I'm
want
here.
nothing to happen to nobody else like that.
That could be my grandson. That could be my son. That could be my brother. That could be my father. But that's the problem with being in Connecticut.
Everyone thinks that because what they see in these other big states, because I've been to many of these protests in other big states, but they think because they see people out there yelling and screaming that they're getting something done. No, they're not getting nothing done but media coverage. That's all. And everybody's seeing
And
it.
the media just thriving off of it.
But are those families able to get, as we were talking earlier, are they able to get in the rooms? Are they able to get and have that conversation with the people that they need to have the conversation with? No, they're not. Because like we said earlier, the people are going to fear for you to come in their room because you're too
loud.
So now you have to be able to mature enough to say, you know what? I want justice for my family. In order for me to get justice, I need to be in these rooms. I need to talk to the right people and make sure the right things happen. So that's why sometimes, you know, these loud protesters and constantly bashing the police, that's not working. That's not going to work. Us as family, we truly want justice for Dyshawn.
Yes.
And we're going to get justice. And we're not going to allow anybody to mess up us getting justice.
Fact.
So if you don't see us out there wilding, that's on you if you choose to do that. But don't try to say, well, why are they not doing nothing? No, we're doing something. We're doing something the right way because we want justice. We don't want to be looking like a clown and they always talking about, oh, yeah, well, they're out there fighting, they're protesting, and then we're going to say, oh, happy anniversary, and once again, it's a protest and there's no justice? No, we don't want that.
That's what I was going to say. Years will be passing. Another young man will pass away by the hands of an officer, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? And then that would be the next story. And then obviously things would be swept under the rug. So let me ask you this, because I am gloves off. So the social media gets, the news, everybody gets a blast of this photo with a AI gun in his hand now all of a sudden. So now, how do you think that was able to reach the news stations and get to, shouldn't the person that literally sat in the room and put that together, should they be arrested too?
I agree.
I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
Like, because that's crazy. Like, you literally went in the computer, you put something together, and then you dished it to the family and society.
Now that's for the lawyer now. He has to do that
Yes.
part and investigate all of that and see how that picture got altered, who was the one that altered it, so on and so forth. That's why the attorney's there. He has to do that part.
Okay, yes, yes. So now, as far as the family goes, obviously, I know personally that you're not in state. You came into town. You know what I'm saying? You come in and out. When now that you're here and you're interacting with certain family members that you probably haven't seen in umpteen years, unfortunately because of the situation, that's why you're here. But how do you feel as the older brother, like, how people look at you? You get what I'm saying? Because it might be different for like him. He's been gone for quite some time, and then like you're the oldest, so some people might depend on you or look at you to see if you respond a certain way, and then they'll move a certain way. So tell me how. No, I'm serious, because nobody want to be on your bad side. I knew you forever.
Nah, I changed, man. I'm not that same person back in the day, I promised my mom that I would be there for my brothers and my sisters. And I stand on that. And if I wild out, I'm not going to be here for them. You know what I'm saying? My brother told me, yo, I need you down here. Fuck everything else, I'm coming. I'm my brother's keepers and my sisters. And I'm here. And we're going to do everything we got to do that's doing right to make sure he gets justice.
And I know this is going to be a touchy subject, but how do you interact with Daishan's children? Like, of course, these are they both nephews? Niece and nephew. Oh, okay, so yeah, it's the best of both worlds. Yes. Oh, man.
He was good for the day. He was good. No more kids. That was good.
Yeah, so how do you...
I reach out all the time.
Yes.
The one I really don't reach out to like that is I don't got her number, his son, but I'm gonna get it. But I reach out always to his daughter and because I know them like.
But
for me, it breaks my heart. But that's the best thing about legacy, having kids, leaving something behind even when you're gone. So being able to see his daughter, Delani, and seeing my mother's face, and I see his face. It's reassuring, but at the same time,
it still hurts.
This is something that we deal with every day.
That's a fact.
For some people, it ended.
It might have kind of at the
cemetery.
We wake up every day in pain. We calling each other like, yo, you good?
I feel it every day.
Facts.
I cry for him every day.
Every morning I call him. Be like, yo, or he call me. He be like, yo,
every
you
day
right?
I cry for him.
I'm not all right.
To think that a person can put their life back together. To have a load ready at the end of the terrace. Just to come here to bury your best friend, our childhood friend, and get back on the road. For the next couple of weeks, and then you was gonna end up coming back for your son's birthday, for you to be deprived of that, robbed of that. So I'm disgusted.
So the police chief, obviously he sits at the head of all this, and everything is coming into his office rapidly from all types of angles. How do you feel as the family, not personally, but as the family, in the way that your brother Daishan Best's case was handled? How do you feel towards him pertaining to handling that when he'd been the police chief for over 20 years, I think?
Now, he actually just came in.
Oh, he did? Okay.
He came in after they got rid of the other one, but I'm conflicted. Like, how can you trust an individual that goes with the narrative, oh, he had a gun in his hand? When I came in your office that morning, I didn't see the tape. But they said he had it. Like, you're the chief. You're the first person that should have seen that tape.
Which he did.
And then you lie in my face.
So with him, I'll say, like he said, it's conflicted. The reason why is because, as we was talking earlier, the chief did do something that no chief would have done in any city or state. And that's after the police shooting, he did invite the family to the police station to have a conversation.
I don't want to give him that credit.
Yeah.
I got up
I didn't
that
want to say,
morning.
yeah, I didn't want
I
to,
was
but
up
let
that
these
morning.
gloves off, you right.
Yeah.
I did
I will
myself,
not give him
call the
credit.
mayor and told him if we ain't there, and I know
I
he,
give him credit for
yeah,
allowing us in.
allowing us in. That's what
I
we'll give him
went to
credit
that
for.
police station. I want
Yep.
some answers. Y'all killed my brother last
Yep.
night. And he was gracious enough to allow
To
us
allow
to come
that.
in and have a
So that's the
sit-down
only little
meeting.
thing he get, right? But now you have us in there and you lied. And then you call me the next day to meet with me again and lied to them the first time saying I didn't see the body camera, and then call me and say I saw it and he did have a gun. And then it comes to find out he never had a gun. So you was lying and covering up for
the people.
the officer.
That blue wall.
So he should be held accountable also.
Doing the right thing should never be hard.
No.
As a black man.
And that's another thing.
You're a black man
Yep.
in the biggest
Position.
Do you believe he should step down?
He wanted us, and that's crazy because us in the community made sure we vouched for him and supported for him to be the chief because of his color.
Mm.
And he went in there and became another color,
The puppet.
blue.
Straight puppet.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, facts. Oh, yes.
He became blue,
Yes.
meaning that what's ever for them is for them. And what's for you is for you. And what's for you is not justice. People got to understand that. No matter what, they don't want justice for real when it comes to us. They don't want to really help us. How do you think a police station is going to be able to function
If everybody's being good. Yeah.
They're not going to need all those police. How do you think they're going to get federal funding if everything is good?
Yeah.
In order to get money, federal funding, your place have to be violent. You have to have a lot of violence in your city in order for your police department to get federal funding. Why does Bridgeport get the most federal funding? In Hartford. Because those are the most violent places right now. And the police are going to allow it to continue on because they need the money. I don't want to get too deep, but
do you think?
I don't want to get too deep.
Do you think that they sitting in there and they literally like, yeah, we just gonna let them? That is crazy.
They're in there. The same. Let's keep it real.
Yeah,
Let's keep it real.
when it hit home.
Back in the day, we were drug dealers. If we beefing with somebody, we gonna come in, and if we did something to somebody, we gonna come. Yo, let's make sure you don't X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? You keep your mouth shut. Don't X, Y, and Z. You feel what I'm saying?
And that's
It's
what
the
they
same
doing.
thing. They a gang. They the blue gang.
Yeah.
So the same. We have to understand the same way we think in the street, they think in there. That's their street.
So now he lies to y'all on multiple different occasions to basically, to cover up what was happening and stuff of that sort. Now we're at a place where everything was, is exposed. Period. Is out there. Y'all all messed up. So from this point on, what is the highlight? We already know the police covered it up. We know Deshaun Best, unfortunately, was murdered by the Bridgeport Police Department and everything of the sort. So now, if the officer get arrested, let's speak hypothetically, the officer gets arrested, the police chief makes a, how they do, public apology or try to step down or whatever, to switch their little thing up. So that still is not going to... You get what I'm saying? So after now he's being charged. Let's say he's being charged. The police chief does his part. I think that it still should be like a change within the police department, like a roll call, like the police station in general.
Because he was wrong.
Yeah, and how do you do that? Is that like
It's called
attorney
bills.
general?
It's called the bills.
Oh,
You have to get with the senator, get the city councils, whoever, get with them, and try to create a bill. You know what I'm saying? You see how you had the police accountability bill? People got together and created that. To make something law, of course you got to get a bill.
Okay.
And once you get that, make it law, then that's why I said a lot of times you can't be rowdy. You want to be able to get in that room so you can give your opinion, your suggestion, and say, well, listen, the police need to start being accountable in this way, and we need to make that law.
Yes.
That's how you change it.
Okay.
It's about not having a cop's cop.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have a people's cop.
Mm-hmm.
Cops is gonna cover up for their fellow brothers in blue.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got a cops that's gonna do the right thing.
You gotta
Those
call
are the
it
ones that they don't even want in the police department.
a community cop. That's what you gotta call them. It's a community cop.
Someone that cares.
Just like how they got hip hop police,
Yeah.
like how they got specific.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
community.
certain
Like,
situations.
you need a community cop. one
What's
that
in the word
cares.
community? What's in the word community? What's
Unity.
the key word? Unity.
Yeah.
That's why you need a community cop, because he's united with the community. He know. I'll just bring up, for instance, back in the day, you got Dave Daniels, PT.
Yes,
I was in
absolutely.
PT.
Also did.
Listen, as you know, I'm sitting here, as you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Dave Daniels,
He cares.
he's gonna, he
He
cares.
He cares.
Yes.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
And to this day,
You know what the
I
Dare
respect
Camp-
Dave
you know
Daniels.
what
So
the
do
Dare
you think it's
basketball camp-
because people was born and raised? Because Dave Daniels was born and raised here.
was
Most of
born and
all his
raised,
family's here. So,
But there's a lot
do
of
you think-
people. Yeah, you're right. It is. When you're born and raised, you're
It's
able
a little
to know.
different because you know what it is. It's different because you know them people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But when you coming from a different city,
Yep.
it's different because I don't know you. I'm here to do my job, and if it,
Especially
you know,
when you're that
it's definitely
color.
And that officer was from where?
Asian. I don't know
I
where you're
don't know.
from.
He came from China. I don't know.
He was fresh. He was
Wasn't
about
from
2
Bridgeport.
years in.
Wow. Okay.
2 years in. Quick to shoot.
And the officer and the female officer that opened the door, she hasn't been charged. Nothing has been, nothing in her direction either.
There's nothing that they could even do that's gonna ease the pain. Yeah, you can lock him up, but Dashawn is still
Still
going.
going.
There's still an empty
It's
seat
not gonna happen.
at our kitchen table. There's an empty bedroom right now. There's nothing that they can do to absolve themselves of what they did.
Me
to us.
right now, like I'm hurting. He's gone, but I want my brother's name clear. Yes. I want him to have a face.
Put respect on his
Put
name.
respect on it. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Hell yeah.
That he was a changed man that did good. Went through the struggle, but he changed. Yes. That's what I want. I want his face back.
His story is
I
real.
want his
man.
clean.
Yeah. His story is real. A lot of people
Put
would.
respect on
A
it.
lot of people wouldn't have been able to. A lot of people wouldn't have been able to get through a lot of that stuff. I can't imagine living
Yeah,
home. I
yeah.
can't.
So as far as before we go, what would you like to tell the community, the people that have been watching this from afar, people that knows the story, the ones that formulated their opinion somehow, some way, whether good or bad, in general, what would you like for them to do? Like,
You know, don't wait until it's your loved one for you to finally want to have some guts to stand up and do what's right. Don't wait for my story to be your story for you to say, oh, y'all was right.
Yeah, no.
There's changes that need to be happening. Because we are one in this community. We all share the same story. Struggle, heartache, pain. We share that same story. My mother was a crackhead. Your mother was a crackhead. My father was in jail. Your father was in jail. How dare you fix your lips to say, oh, that's just another black nigga dead. Oh, he shouldn't have ran. He shouldn't have did that. Okay. You put the blame on the victim. But what about the perpetrator? The one who shot him in the back? What shouldn't he have done? He should have gave my brother a chance.
I like that.
Yeah.
What he shouldn't have done. Have not. Yeah, I like that.
So we're left here with open arms and red eyes because we cried out. I have no more hate to give. I'm all hate out. Now what I do have in me is fight. I have grit in me now. You're forcing me to step in and be my brother's keeper. I'd be damned you think you're going to forget his name. It is not happening. Not on my watch, not on his watch, not on his watch. We not allowing it. People doing videos, people doing all type of bullshit. okay.
Towards that,
It's
yeah,
okay.
speak on it.
It's okay. But you reap what you sow. God is good. He was good to me. Allowed me to
Amen.
come home. So you better hope that you pay for your bad deeds here, in this world. Because in that hellfire, you don't want that. You don't want that karma.
Dude, word.
So for all the ones that want to speak bad about it, but don't want to step up and do nothing about it, joke's gonna be on you. Because he who laughs, you know the saying.
So,
You know, those people that do have those opinions too, anytime somebody have an opinion on me, and I'm quite sure him, or even yourself, I think that person that has an opinion, he should talk to who? That person. If you have an opinion on me, come to me. Have a conversation with me. If you have an opinion on him, have a conversation. Because now you have a better understanding. So those people that have this narrative that he might have had a gun or why he ran, come talk to the family. Come have the conversation.
Or at least common sense.
Or use
common sense and look what's going on.
Half of the people get, matter of fact,
Who hands look like that?
you're in fear when you get pulled over.
you swear to God.
You're in fear, and you know you legit, but at the same time you're like, oh man, this police, you know what I'm saying? So stop asking them dumb questions. Why he ran?
Being black, we are automatically born with PTSD.
Yes.
I was born with that. That's in our genes. PTSD. Dealing with a racist society that didn't even want us here in the first place.
That's a fact.
They think that it's 2025 that nobody's racist no more. Oh, the times have changed. Well, you was a liar. You're delusional to think that we don't go through this every day. I go in the store right now, looking as I am right now, and they'll still follow me. They hate what they do not understand. How can you hate a person that you're trying to be every summer? You sitting your ass out in the sun.
Trying to get it
You don't like the black man, but you sure trying to look like the black man.
Yeah. So, would y'all like to say something in closing?
I'm good with that one. That was
Okay. So I would like to just say I appreciate all of y'all just for even showing up, pulling up, talking to me. Obviously, this is a special
But before you
subject.
go on, I know you are the interviewer.
Yeah.
But you have a voice, and how do you feel about the situation? Your
Well-
family, how do you feel about the situation?
Well, truthfully, when I've seen it on social media. As soon as I seen the name, I thought about you off gate. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like this because I didn't know Dyshawn personally. I know Leonard personally. I know Dion personally. Like, so when I first saw it, the first thing popped in my head was, oh, Dion. And I'm not gonna lie. I know you changed, but the second thing went to my brain was, it's about to get crazy. Because I know how he can go by. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to go stand next to him. Like, yo, what's the hell? So I literally called him and told him I'm gonna wait for him to come down for me to even approach. Of course, I reached out when I seen Leonard. May God hold me to this. When I saw you on social media, I was crying because I was like, I've been waiting for this. Bruh, it's been that damn long. Like, I remember
the first day.
like, this is what I'm saying. I remember
the first day
I remember
he
when
walked into prison. He came into prison. They told, everybody knew I was locked up. Anyway, he came in there. They said, little Leonard, I think he was in the Green Mile at first or something like that. He was in the Green Mile. I said, wait, who? What is that? Yeah, he was in the Green. Seeing him come up, I ain't gonna lie. He was a young tight. I've been in a long time. He was a little young tight baby when I seen him. You know what I'm saying, last. But just to see him come in and he came up to me, he said, "You know what I mean? I'm Lila." With Lila, my little sister. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm Leonard. Lila's I'm Lila. I like, yo, this is little Best.
Yeah,
This is little X.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then from seeing him in there and then coming out here to
Yes,
see who he is
whole
now.
person.
That's why I say don't judge him for them. Don't
Yes,
judge
yes.
Don't judge DY as DY. Judge him as Dyshawn.
Yes.
Leonard, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm
A whole transformation. You know
Complete.
how Steve Urkel go inside
Yo,
the thing and they turn
I'm like,
you with it, whole
Yeah.
transformation.
Transformation.
And
humbly
so
loved.
when like you know
Him too.
Yes, yes.
I told him when I seen him, I said, this is key. I know this might sound crazy. I said, I'm glad to see you alive.
Yes.
I'm glad I'm alive.
Yes.
Because of the stuff that, you know what I'm
Yes,
saying,
yes,
back
yes,
then,
yes.
we're alive. We
Yes,
made
yes.
it. So we're grateful.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why we're going to keep doing good.
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Keep going
But,
do
um,
them
keep
blessings,
doing
all
good.
blessings on blessings.
You already
So let
know.
me
Go
finish
ahead.
about Dyshawn. So when I did see Leonard, and like I said, I got emotional, and I was like, damn. Like I was like, because like I said, I know the story. So I'm like, for him to come home and walk into this was a whole smack. And like I said, I'm like, Dion, I know him personally. Now Leonard, oh my God. So I'm like, okay, let me go to my family, but let me go to them with humility, with peace, with calm, because I've learned from him. So if he snapped, my brain feel like, okay, I'm justified, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So I'm like, hold up. And then of course, you know, we literally the same age. We same streets. Where you at, guy? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I was frozen because I was shocked, but I knew I had to like eventually show my presence. Like, all right, I gotta stand next to my cousin. I have to let him know that not only by me standing here, my brothers is here, my mother is here, my grandmother, and so forth on. Because my grandmother don't help shape this city in many forms, and he know this personally. So when I reached out to her and told her, her brain went like, oh my God, I need to see him, I need to talk. But I'm like, Graham, you know, he's not ready to have that talk with you yet. But she was all, you know, like my family's ready. Like my family look at them as family, so it's like, oh, I'm ready. So I just wanted them all to know that we're here, and I don't care at what time of night. Like I told Diane, I'm waiting for us to go out to eat. You know what I'm saying, so we can have our one-on-one. But yeah, definitely, I definitely was there. Only reason why I had to reach out and get you brothers to sit down and have this actual interview was because I seen the energy that was social media doing, and I didn't like it. I needed to change the narrative for us and put it back on the right subject, and that is Dyshawn Best. So we are here for Dyshawn Best in the community. I'm gonna let you finish.
Well, let me just so that it's clear.
Yes.
I'm my brother's keeper for one. You know, we here together.
Facts.
I'm always be a voice for Dyshawn no matter what. I don't care who don't come, who don't protest, who don't step up and speak up. That's our job. I'm going to keep his name alive. It hurts every day to get up, to know that he's not here. But to know that God has given me the opportunity to wake up that day, that's an opportunity to continue to fight this race, not just for my mother, because that was a promise that I gave my mother on her deathbed while I was in prison, that I was going to never let nobody dictate my mind, my spirit, and my heart to doing what they want to do. I move at my own beat of my own drum. So now I have the obligation to be there for my nephew, my niece, and for all my siblings that need me. Ain't no burnout, ain't no crash out. You thought you knew me, but you about to find out.
Yes. And with that, you already know it's a wrap.
That's right.
We on gloves off. We don't sugarcoat, beat around the bush about our tongue.
Appreciate you too.
Appreciate you, man.
Love you, man.
You know the vibe. Yes.
Love you. Tomorrow.
Yeah, hit me. Just let me know what time.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.